What is good, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video as we're here for another retro Ring of Honor review. As this time around we're here to discuss Ring of Honor Supercard of VIII from 2014. I will admit, the Dodgers and Blue Jays game is in the 13th inning right now, so that will distract me. But if it ends, then obviously it wouldn't. Regardless, you might get a live update. Back to the retro review. We're here to discuss Supercard of Honor VIII from 2014, main evented by Adam Cole versus Jay Briscoe. I'm a big fan of trilogies. I've mentioned that time and time again on the channel. So this is the second in the Adam Cole, Jay Briscoe trilogy that we'll be discussing on the channel. Now, before we get into this review, I want to do a bit of a cleanup timeline of events because we have like a year's worth of stuff to discuss from Border Wars 2013 all the way to Supercard of Honor VIII 2014. So when we left off at Border Wars 2013, Jay Briscoe's Ring of Honor World title reign was just beginning. And again, he defeated Adam Cole in the main event of Border Wars. Now, if you fast forward to the end, or to Best of the World, the next pay-per-view that they would happen, more so, the TV tape had fallen Best of the World, which was a very important TV tape in ROH's history, as the ROH versus Scum story would come to a conclusion in a steel cage warfare match that ROH prevailed in, ending Scum. There's a little Adam Cole teaser there in the end of that match where we think he's going to join Scum, but he never enters the cage to do so. More importantly, Jay Briscoe would vacate his Ring of Honor World Championship. It's very confusing. It's very conflicting, because there's contractual issues going on. There's a lot of issues going on, but the way that was portrayed on TV is that he was injured, which he was a little bit banged up, but he was injured in the Ring of Honor World title match. So the point being, he had to vacate the world title. So throughout the summer of 2013, the Ring of Honor World title was vacated. A big tournament took place over a course of several shows, which I plan on discussing on the channel at some point. But it came to a conclusion at Death Before Dishonor with Adam Cole winning the tournament and his first Ring of Honor World Championship. And to end that show, Jay Briscoe handed over the championship title belt and then received a super kick from Adam Cole, who was starting his first world title reign. Now, going to Glory by Honor, which was the next pay-per-view, main evented by a Champions versus All-Stars match. Michael Elgin was the sole survivor of the Champions team and winner of that. But all that did not... It was almost an hour or over an hour-long match. I'm not going to say it didn't matter, because it did. But Jay Briscoe would make his return to Ring of Honor and do so by introducing his own real World Championship. He was added to the Final Battle 2013 main event, which is a triple threat: Adam Cole, Jay Briscoe, and Michael Elgin. Realistically speaking, I could discuss that here, but I'm staying strictly to Adam Cole, Jay Briscoe matches. And Final Battle 2018 is not the best ROH. Not the best Final Battle. It's an okay show. A lot of clumsiness on that show. The most noteworthy thing to come out of that was Chris Hero making his Ring of Honor return, which was a good thing. And most of Adam Cole's early 2014 was worried about Chris Hero. And so we're here at Supercard of Honor. Chris Hero is already gone from ROH again. And he's left having to worry about Jay Briscoe because, again, he still has claims to being the World Heavyweight Champion. And enough is enough. The main event, Ladder War 5, both the Jay Briscoe's Real World Championship and the ROH World Heavyweight Championship is on the line in that Ladder War match. But we've got a lot of things to get through before we get to that, because that's the main event. And I should have said this from the beginning. Sorry that I didn't. If you're 4 minutes in and you care. Little bonus match review at the end. It's Halloween week. If I can figure out a way to include an obscure match from around that time period, or it's related to the event that we're discussing, I will. So after the main event, we do have a bonus match review, a special Halloween treat if you want to include it like that. Our opening contest of Supercard of Honor VIII is Cedric Alexander versus Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong at Final Battle 2013 would form the Decade with BJ Whitmer and Jimmy Jacobs, which is a group bounded by veteran talent leaving ROH. So at that Final Battle show, it was Eddie Edwards' last ROH show. And the veteran talent leaving ROH for greater pastures, and the younger talent there not showing respect to the veteran talent. So these three wanted to make a stand for that. And Cedric Alexander would be the target of this, and so much so that they would even throw his bag out of the locker room, even though he didn't really do anything wrong. Back and forth, fast-paced start, slows down when Roddy starts to target the neck of Cedric with lots of forearms. We get an Olympic slam by Roddy that gets a 2 count. Then we get a backbreaker that gets a 2 count. A chop exchange leads to Roddy landing a gutbuster and a close 2 count. Cedric spin kick and dive to the outside of the rest of the Decade members takes them out, but it sets up Roddy to hit the end of a heartache back in the ring and end the matchup. So these two have a couple of good matches in 2014, and this is the first of those, and Roddy picks up the victory. Now, the Decades stay out here, which is Jimmy Jacobs, BJ Whitmer, and Adam Page, who I will admit, it's not Hangman Adam Page yet. That's still 2 years from now. I swear, throughout the course of this match, anytime they kept saying Adam Page, it was like Hangman Page. It's just ingrained in my mind. So if I say Hangman Page, I'm referring to Adam Page, obviously. Because the next matchup is the Decade versus Adrenaline Rush and Andrew Everett. Tadarius Thomas and Jimmy Jacobs start with no code of honor. ACH quickly tags in and is trapped in his opponent's corner. Thomas lands a dive to the outside and is followed with a Jacobs spear to ACH on the outside. ACH continues to be trapped in the corner when they are back in the ring until he lands a dive to the outside to get out of this. We're going to Everett moonsault to Page in the ring and a shooting star press to everyone on the outside. Then he's thrown to the outside onto a cameraman, which, he was in the way of, with the Decade winning with the all-seeing eye on Tadarius Thomas, which it would not be that long until he joins the group as well. So a very good 6-man tag match that happened here. As now, we're supposed to have a match with Matt Taven versus an opponent of Truth Martini's choosing. That did not happen. I'm not going to say it was kind of a waste of time. It was kind of a waste of 5-ish minutes because Matt Taven comes out. He was with Truth Martini through all of 2013 and all of his TV title reign. And then the TV title reign ends and he's done with Truth Martini. But Truth Martini's not done with him. And this kind of leads to nothing. He kicks him in the ding-ding. I will go ahead and mention it now because I forgot to write it down. But Matt Taven chases him to the back later on where Truth Martini throws a fire. We're supposed to believe that a fireball is thrown into the face of Matt Taven. But we don't see it because it's behind closed doors. So kind of, nothing comes out of this, but it is not the last that we see of Truth Martini on this show. The next matchup, though, is Silas Young versus R.D. Evans, who is in the middle, or the beginning. I can't even really say this is the beginning of his new streak, because on the poster board that comes out, 82-0, R.D. Evans' new streak, and it continues throughout most of 2014, or the beginning of 2014, with Veda Scott and Ramon being there as well. Veda Scott trips Silas, and Silas chases her around the ring with Ramon not being any help. R.D. Evans holds his own in the ring until he misses on a frog splash. Then he is dropped on the apron, and then he gets back in the ring before the count of 20. Silas is caught with a belt in his hands from the referee, and then is arguing with the referee with R.E. rolling him up. And then once he kicks out, he pushes the ref, like he is bumped into the referee again. And then he hits a net breaker, and a second referee comes out to count the 3 count. But that does not matter, because the original referee finally wakes up and DQs Silas, with everybody celebrating because R.D. Evans' streak continues. So the celebration of that was funny in itself. And yes, I did spoil that he won the match because I said he had the streak throughout most of 2014. So there's that. There's a lot of things. So, all right, now we're in the 14th inning. We're getting a lot of baseball commentary. A lot of empty seats. Granted, I don't even know how late it is there. We're in the 14th inning, though, with the Blue Jays they're at bat. There's baseball AHS analysis. Forgot to mention, Supercard of Honor VIII, 2014. WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania 30 weekend in New Orleans, which I will say that this 2013 is an all-time Supercard of Honor. 24 and like any other, it was going to be difficult to top that show. This show, spoiler alert, doesn't do that. 2015 they treated it as a house show, even though there's a lot of good things that happen on it. What I'm trying to get at is when it is a WrestleMania weekend show, it really feels important. And they say there's a lot of fans there, and there's a lot all around the front row on the barricades are different countries' flags and whatnot. So that was cool to see. But something about this show didn't really feel like WrestleMania weekend-esque. I don't really know what, to be honest. I guess because a lot of the WrestleMania weekend ROH shows are 2-parters, which this year that they did this, it was night 1 was the iPay-per-view, then night 2 was a TV tape, and so it might have been that. I don't know. harping on things that don't matter that much. As the next matchup is a no DQ match between Mike Bennett and Mark Briscoe. These two men are obviously allies of the two men in the main event. Obviously, Mark Briscoe is the brother of Jay Briscoe. Mark's neckbreaker on the outside, lands a neckbreaker on the outside to start the matchup, and then they quickly go into the crowd, and we get a crossbody by Mark off of the steps and a Cactus Jack elbow once they're back near the ring apron. The match then goes to the stage with Bennett landing a spear through a table, which it was very hard to see because it was very dark and they did not have the best camera angle for it. Maria grabs and uses a kendo stick from Mark Briscoe and hits Mark with it, following with a Mike Bennett side effect onto a chair. Then more chairs are used when Bennett lands the concerto, and Mark is already out from that, but Bennett applies the anaconda, I want to go to sleep, the anaconda vice to make Mark Briscoe pass out. Again, this is early 2014. CM Punk is already gone from WWE, and I don't remember if Mike Bennett always did it or leaned into it once he left WWE, but all the shows that we've reviewed thus far where Mike Bennett has done it, it's been post CM Punk leaving WWE. So there's that. Not that crazy of a match, but spoiler alert, these two men are involved in the main event, which kind of would explain that, I guess. Another spoiler alert, and another person that gets involved in the main event is Matt Hardy, who interrupts Cheeseburger after intermission, who is throwing out free t-shirts, which event t-shirts back in the day for ROH, about $30. So, you try to get that shirt if you can. And Matt Hardy comes out and gives a twist of fate to Cheeseburger. There's a lot of time felt wasted with this. We're getting Matt Hardy in the main event. We didn't really necessarily need him here, but I digress. Next matchup is a number one contenders match for the Tag Team Championships with the Forever Hooligans taking on Raymond Rowe and Warbeard Hansen versus Red Dragon. I did write down the name War Machine for them, but they're not known as that yet. So I might refer to them as War Machine, just to stop the complication, because y'all just saw me struggle there. Now, while you're wondering, why is this number one contenders match? Where are the tag team titles? During this time, the Young Bucks are the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. And they defeated Red Dragon at Raising the Bar Night 2. But they're not on this show. As again, this is a very important weekend in wrestling history. It's obviously WrestleMania weekend, but it's Invasion Attack in New Japan, which that's where the Young Bucks is at. A very important show in modern New Japan history, as this is the show in which Prince Devitt leaves New Japan and the Bullet Club, with AJ Styles joining New Japan and the Bullet Club, which I've alluded to it several times that plays a big factor into this era of ROH. But they didn't play a factor onto this show because they were not there. But they need to know who the hell will be challenging them after this. Raymond Rowe and Kyle O'Reilly start the matchup off, with most of it being Red Dragon running away from War Machine and even tagging out into Alex Kozlov. Kozlov lands his kicks on Rowe, with it being followed up with forever clotheslines by Romero. Then the match goes to the outside with an O'Reilly corner drop kick to Rowe in the corner. Kozlov's shooting star only gets a 2 count, and a quick O'Reilly roll-up ends the matchup. A lot of this matchup felt like War Machine coming in, and then the other two teams were running around into them until the two teams worked together or worked with one another to take out War Machine. Again, it's kind of the beginning of that team. Probably would have benefited them more just to do Red Dragon and Forever Hooligans, because they had a story where the previous year in 2013, Forever Hooligans had a big upset victory over Red Dragon to win the tag title. So I thought they could have ran that back here. But nothing much happens here, but Red Dragon are the number one contenders for the Tag Team Championships. Now, the TV title match, 2 out of 3 falls. Tommaso Ciampa versus Jay Lethal. In 2012, in a 2 out of 3 falls match with these same two men, Ciampa would leave the matchup injured and be out for almost a year. Once recovering, he went on an insane road, including winning the television championship. And Jay Lethal, during that time period, kind of had an up-and-down trajectory. He would win the survival of the fittest. He would challenge for the world and TV titles several times, but was not successful. And he needed to find a different side of him. He needed to find a killer instinct, which they had a whole marketing ploy toward that. And I'm only saying that because they named a show Killer Instinct and had Jay Lethal on the cover of it. Very good DVD cover. Also good main event. So, Jay Lethal is looking to defeat Tommaso Ciampa once again in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and once again become TV champion because he had already had a reign beforehand. No code of honor. Instead, Ciampa hands over the knee brace to Lethal, which is a very important detail and a very cool detail that, not many people could do. We get a trio of Lethal suicide dives to the outside early onto Ciampa, with him landing a running knee in the corner that sends him over the barricade a couple of seconds after it. Both men bang knees in the ring and slow one another down. Then we get a suplex over the ropes with both battling to get into the ring until the count of 19. And then once back in the ring, Lethal gets a roll-up to get his first fall. Ciampa retaliates quickly, eventually applying a Koji clutch and then a cutter that gets a 2 count. Then Lethal hits his own Project Ciampa for payback and a 2 count. Then we get a Lethal injection attempt, but Lethal ends up bumping into Todd Sinclair, with Truth Martini coming out soon after and handing the knee brace to Lethal, who uses it and hits Ciampa, but Ciampa is still able to fight back from this. We need another Lethal injection for Jay Lethal to get the clean sweep and to become a 2-time Ring of Honor television champion as he starts a new chapter in his career, and more importantly, a new chapter in the Book of Truth, as now we see the alliance of Truth Martini and Jay Lethal that would go on to have a long TV title. I was going to say he had the longest TV title reign, but I know that Samoa Joe has that. One of the longest TV title reigns during this, but very good match, and I like the backstory because they had the matchup before, and I liked how they leaned into their previous encounters before and here. So, that was good. Up next, a number 1 contenders match for the IWGP World Championship. Michael Elgin versus Kevin Steen. These two always had good matches with one another, and this is a good match as well. Steen attempts a package piledriver early, but to no prevail. We get a cannonball in the corner instead that sends both men to the outside, both men throwing each other into the barricade soon after. Back in the ring, Elgin hits a delayed German suplex and a black hole slam for a 2 count. He then misses on his twisting splash off the top rope, leading to a neck breaker by Steen for a 2 count. Elgin then hits a cannonball and then into a powerbomb, and then he attempts to hit a second powerbomb, but it is turned into an F-Sync by Kevin Steen. We get an apron powerbomb by Steen, and then he misses on the apron cannonball or apron senton. And then Steen lands a pop-up powerbomb and package piledriver in the ring that only get a 2 count. Elgin gets his knees up on Steen's swanton bomb attempt, and then follows it up with an Elgin bomb that gets only a 2 count. We get more Elgin bombs with Steen trying to fight back, and then we get a sleeper suplex by him, but it's not enough, and Elgin surprisingly wins this match with a package piledriver. So hopefully I did not confuse you, but both men using each other's signature moves, and it helped them out. Spoiler, this is the best match of the night. I always enjoy reviewing Kevin Steen matches on the show, and I've already discussed the IWGP World Title matchup that Elgin takes place in. Check out the War of the Worlds 2014 review for that match. It was in the main event. It's Magic Johnson. It's on the screen. Everyone is standing up. I know that he's an actor, this guy that they're showing now. I don't know his name. All right, so the Dodgers are at bat. I'm pretty sure it's Shohei, so it makes sense for everybody to be standing up. Holy shit. It might be out. It is out. Holy crap. Oh my God. I thought it was going out of the park. Everybody was celebrating, but holy crap. I'm glad I got that on the review. All right. Main event time. I went through the backstory with Adam Cole and Jay Briscoe. We're here for the second of our Adam Cole and Jay Briscoe trilogy. This time around in Ladder War number 5. Jay Briscoe putting up his real Ring of Honor World Championship. Adam Cole putting up his Ring of Honor World Championship. And it's an important note that at Supercard of Honor 2013, that is where Jay Briscoe didn't win his first World Championship. So the previous year, very intense Ladder War takes place. Now, Jay's dive to the outside is caught with a chair from Cole, and then the top of his head is immediately, like we're a minute in, and Jay Briscoe is already bleeding. He retaliates on the outside with throwing a chair at Cole. We get a suplex on the ladder in the ring, and then to the outside, where Jay sets a ladder up onto 2 chairs and delivers a senton off of the apron. While Cole is down, Jay wants to deliver more damage. and does so with a powerbomb onto a ladder in the ring. Cole lands a super kick onto Jay and onto a ladder where Jay lands onto a ladder on the outside. We come back fairly quickly recovers very quickly from this, grabbing Cole off of the ladder and throwing him onto another one. Jay gets Cole on a ladder, and then it slowly, it's laying down, and it slowly, disintegrates and breaks, with Jay landing an elbow drop off of the top rope onto him after that. Both men start to swing and throw chairs at one another, with Jay going to grab for the ladders, or the title, on the top of the ladder, but he opts to stop once Adam Cole flips him off because he is laying on the ground, not able to get up. Then, again, like I said, Jay goes after him. Then he looks to deliver a concerto when Matt Hardy appears to help Adam Cole out. This prompts Mark Briscoe to come out as well, and then he dives onto Matt on the outside on a table. And then Mike Bennett comes out and knocks him off of the ladder and then puts Mark through a table. We'll get Jay Drillers to both Matt Hardy and Mike Bennett, but in the ring, this leaves Adam Cole and Jay Briscoe all alone again, where they battle on the top of the ladder, with Cole being able to knock Jay Briscoe down and retrieve both championships. So, I think that's another out. Everybody's all sad, so I imagine the game's not over. Very good ladder war. Not the most intense ladder war. Kind of a weird... That's the best way to describe the finish. It's a finish that kept Jay Briscoe to look strong, and Adam Cole throughout this match was struggling as Jay Briscoe was beating the shit out of him, if that's the simplest way to put it. And so the end of the match kind of solidified that Adam Cole's one chance to get the championship. He was able to get it with Jay Briscoe still being in the matchup, but it was already over, and Adam Cole is now the double champion, which eventually hands Jay Briscoe's world title to Matt Hardy and replaces Jay Briscoe's face on it with a version of his own face. So this is match 2 in the Adam Cole and Jay Briscoe trilogy. The main reason that I am discussing this is because, again, I'm a big fan of trilogies. This is an important trilogy and rivalry that has happened in modern ROH, and one that is very familiar. As next time around, and again, I waited to do this because next time around, we'll be reviewing their third and final match in their trilogy. That match from Final Battle 2014. As we're slowly but surely arriving at Final Battle 2025. I'm not going to do Final Battle reviews every week until Final Battle this year, but it's going to be something like Final Battle related. So obviously, with the next retro review, it will be a Final Battle show. Then the reviews after it, you'll understand. I don't want to spoil it, but the next review should be Final Battle 2014, unless something happens. Now, something does need to happen. I told y'all there was a bonus match review, and damn it, there is. Bonus match review, Kevin Steen versus Masato Tanaka from that same WrestleMania weekend, with this matchup taking place at the WrestleCon Super Show. We get immediate forums after the Code of Honor, a handshake. It's not an ROH match, but I still wrote down Code of Honor. This is followed by loud slaps and chops. On the outside, we get a running chair shot by Tanaka, and then a chair toss by Steen to Tanaka's head, with it having no effect to Masato. Both men battle on the apron, with Tanaka eventually landing a German suplex. We get an F-Sync by Steen that gets a 2 count, and then Steen tells a fan to shut the F up. We get a top rope suplex by Tanaka and a frog splash that gets a 2 count. A sleeper suplex and pop-up powerbomb by Steen that gets a 2 count. Steen misses on his swanton bomb, with Tanaka following up with a rolling elbow for a 2 count. Then he would hit 2 more elbows, with Steen begging for that last one to hit, and Tanaka ends the matchup after it. So, 2 all-time greats. I love talking about Kevin Steen, wink wink, for the future Final Battle reviews, or the future reviews coming up. So, I'm glad I was able to sneak in one more Kevin Steen match review on this episode. So this is a bit of a long one. We're gonna get a live commentary of this, because everyone is still standing. There's only one person on first base. The ball is on the ground. I'm not the best with baseball analysis. I'll tell you that now. So back to the ROH analysis. I enjoyed the Kevin Steen Michael Elgin match. Best match of the show. It just, with them doing a ladder war, that solidified it as like a big show and a big deal, but it just didn't properly feel like a Supercard of Honor. It felt like the last 2 matches solidified it. Maybe the last 3, because I did enjoy the TV title match as well. So, like, the first half of the card was kind of eh. Also, outside of the main event, there's no, like, none of the other matches, like, really had storylines to go with it, because the tag titles, it was hard to do anything because the Young Bucks were in Japan. That was understandable. Jay Lethal and Tommaso Ciampa, their rivalry had been dragged on for the past 2 years, but was, like, relit just to do this matchup. Kevin Steen and Michael Elgin are just top contenders. That's not really a storyline. I'm not going to say it affected the show completely, but it affected the analysis a little bit. But overall, was a good show. I would recommend the second half more than the first half, which is probably the case with most wrestling shows. As again, I'm trying to delay this. There's also a fan in a Miami Marlins jersey, which I know that I've seen at one of these other games. And I also don't really know what time it is, but it might be like 2 o'clock now, which is hilarious. I know in California it's not 2 o'clock, so y'all will know what happens before I do. So I do appreciate y'all for watching this. Like I said, next week's review should be Final Battle 2014, so hopefully I see you there. If not, I see you in my other videos. I have a very fun WWE 2K25 My GM series going on. We do Ring of Honor TV reviews every week, so enjoy your time, enjoy your process, enjoy your week, and I'll see you when I see you. I'm out for now. Goodbye.